For centuries, people have searched for the secret to a happy and meaningful life. Some believed happiness comes from wealth. Others chased fame, power, beauty, or success. Modern society constantly tells us that if we work harder, earn more money, buy bigger houses, or become more popular, we will finally feel fulfilled. Yet millions of people who achieve these goals still feel lonely, anxious, and emotionally empty. So what truly makes life good? One of the most powerful answers to this question comes from Robert Waldinger, the director of one of the longest scientific studies ever conducted on human happiness, the famous Harvard study of adult development. This research followed hundreds of people for more than 80 years, tracking their health, relationships, careers, struggles, and emotional lives. The conclusion shocked many people because the answer was surprisingly simple. A good life is built on good relationships. Not money, not fame, not endless achievement. Human connection. The study began in 1938 and observed the lives of two very different groups of men. One group consisted of Harvard students from wealthy families. The other group included boys from some of the poorest neighborhoods in Boston. Researchers interviewed them regularly, studied their health records, spoke with their families, and followed their entire life journeys. Over the decades, some participants became successful businessmen, lawyers, and doctors. Others struggled with addiction, poverty, or personal tragedy. Some achieved fame, some lived ordinary lives. But one pattern appeared again and again. The people who stayed socially connected to family, friends, and community were healthier, happier, and lived longer than those who were isolated. This finding is deeply important in the modern world because loneliness has become a global crisis. Despite social media and constant digital communication, many people feel emotionally disconnected. People spend hours online but rarely experience genuine closeness. Many are surrounded by crowds, yet still feel alone inside. According to the research, loneliness does far more than hurt emotionally. It physically damages the body. People who experience chronic loneliness often suffer from higher stress levels, weaker immune systems, memory decline, anxiety, depression, and shorter lifespans. Meanwhile, warm and supportive relationships act almost like medicine for the human brain and body. The study also revealed another surprising truth. It is not the number of relationships that matters most. It is the quality of those relationships. Someone can know thousands of people online and still feel miserable. Another person may have only a few close relationships, yet feel deeply fulfilled and emotionally secure. Real happiness grows from trust, emotional safety, honesty, love, and meaningful connection. This means that one genuine friendship can be more valuable than hundreds of superficial interactions. Many people spend their entire lives focusing on external success while neglecting the people around them. They postpone time with family, they ignore friendships, they become consumed by work, stress, and competition. Years later, they often realize they built a successful career but an emotionally empty life. The Harvard study teaches us that at the end of life, people rarely say, "I wish I worked more. I wish I bought more things. I wish I spent more time chasing status." Instead, many regret losing touch with loved ones, missing important moments, or failing to nurture meaningful relationships. One of the strongest predictors of happiness in old age was not cholesterol levels or career achievements. It was relationship satisfaction in midlife. People who had strong emotional bonds at age 50 tended to be healthier and happier decades later. This completely changes the way many people think about success. Modern culture often glorifies hustle, productivity, and non-stop ambition. Society celebrates people who sacrifice everything for achievement. But the research suggests that emotional connection may be one of the most important investments a person can make. Good relationships also protect people during difficult times. Life inevitably brings suffering, illness, loss, failure, heartbreak, uncertainty. No one escapes pain forever. But people who face challenges alongside supportive others tend to recover more effectively than those who suffer alone. A caring conversation, emotional support, or simply knowing someone truly understands you can dramatically reduce psychological stress. This does not mean relationships are always easy. Even the happiest couples argue. Families experience conflict. Friendships go through difficult periods. But stable relationships are not defined by perfection. They are defined by trust, commitment, forgiveness, and emotional resilience. The study found that people in healthy relationships often experienced less emotional pain during aging because they felt supported and understood. In contrast, toxic or hostile relationships created chronic stress that harmed both mental and physical health. Another powerful lesson from Robert Waldinger is that happiness is not something we permanently achieve. It is not a destination where life suddenly becomes perfect forever. A good life is built gradually through daily choices. Calling a friend, spending time with family, listening carefully to someone, showing kindness, being emotionally present, building trust over time, creating moments of connection. Small actions repeated consistently shape the emotional quality of our lives. The study also challenges the idea that people must become extraordinary to live meaningful lives. Many participants who lived the happiest lives were not famous or wealthy. They simply maintained strong relationships, contributed to their communities, stayed emotionally engaged, and cared about others. This is encouraging because it means happiness is accessible to far more people than society often suggests. You do not need millions of dollars to experience a meaningful life. You do not need celebrity status. You do not need perfection. Human beings are biologically and emotionally wired for connection. We are social creatures. Our minds and bodies function best when we feel loved, valued, and connected to others. Technology itself is not the problem. The problem is when digital interaction replaces authentic emotional connection. Endless scrolling, comparison, and online validation can create the illusion of connection while increasing emotional emptiness. The research reminds us to focus on what is real. Face-to-face conversations, shared experiences, trust, empathy, love, community. These are the foundations of psychological well-being. Another important lesson is that it is never too late to improve your life by improving your relationships. Some participants repaired broken family connections later in life and experienced major increases in happiness and emotional stability. Others formed new friendships, even in old age. Human beings continue growing emotionally throughout life,